let's just cut to the chase. Recently, I have found myself excessively attached to my magical portable cellular device, so I decided to look for a way to fix it. A couple investigations later, I found that the main culprit is the convenience that my daily driver phone has brought me. The iPhone 12 mini, which is still a powerhouse for my usage, so I'm still largely content living with it. Separate review video later. Many people in a similar predicament often resort to limiting their reliance on the smartphone that everybody carries around nowadays. For example, by using overpriced feature phones, imposing ridiculous restrictions on a modern phone, or to the extent of downgrading to an older device. However, if you know me, I am unusual and special. I will be trying out the essentially same thing by downgrading phones, but with a couple of tiny asterisks. Number 1. My replacement phone must run the latest version of software sufficiently reliably, and custom firmwares are prohibited in this video, though I might do it next time. Number 2. I cannot spend too much money on it. And number 3. It has to be quirky enough to annoy me, as a consequence to help me become less addicted to it. After a couple of negotiations, I managed to acquire a 64GB iPhone XS for the sweet price of nothing. Why? Well, this was actually my main phone back in a couple of years ago, which after I upgraded to the 12 mini, I passed the XS to my dad to use as a second phone. However, he has just recently bought an iPhone 13, so it went back into my possession. Well, the current status of this phone is not quite decent. The back glass is white while the frame is gold. This is the result of my craftsmanship, trying to color mix it years ago. The frame is severely scratched, also my fault from back then. Face ID is toasted, which was also my fault. The battery is currently at 80% health and is so bad that it drains itself to death within a day of inactivity. The screen is a crappy aftermarket LCD panel that has no brightness control, True Tone, and is an overheating mess, which is very much my fault since I broke this phone's screen precisely 5 times, foreshadowing. If you noticed, you can see how far off the colors are from the original Apple display, which is on my iPhone 12. And the front camera is absolutely cooked, which obviously is my fault. Plus, the rear camera's glass is cracked by... do I even have to say it? Anyways, those imperfections seem to make up for a pretty suitable phone for my extremely niche intended purpose. Side note, there will be a small indicator on this corner of the screen to indicate the camera that is currently recording the footage that you are watching, so you guys can be the judge for the phone's camera quality. And spoiler alert, it is pretty good. Well, to be frank, I originally was going to use this 64GB iPhone SE1 to push the batteries, but my laziness hindered my will to convert my eSIM to a physical SIM, so yeah. Now it was time to set the iPhone XS up. First, I installed the latest iOS 18 Developer Beta 2 that's available at the time of filming, which is notorious for its thermals, which should contribute in bugging my ass out. Second, I downloaded a couple of apps and themed them for fun. Third, I transferred my data eSIM over from my iPhone 12, which was another journey on its own. You can just see for yourself. Last, I have to work around a nighttime charging solution, as I am a trusty MagSafe user, which unfortunately this phone is not capable of. But fear less, a cheap 20 cents attachment is coming to the rescue, only if it actually sticks. So yeah, I decided to stick it onto a case. While setting the phone up and transferring some videos over the computer, I found that AirDrop is just so badly unreliable on this version of software. Beta things. Now, this phone will be my main daily driver phone for a week. Yay! This is going to turn into a boring vlog real quick. I started up my Sunday with an extra chemistry class at 7:30. Then I dropped myself off at a coffee shop to work on a part of this video's script. After that, I got home and worked on this 8th gen iPad I got for free from a cousin who recently upgraded to an Air 5. Yeah, I have too many Apple devices now. The iPad needed a new digitizer glass which costed me $4 in total to repair, Enjoy this time-lapse montage of me doing it, recorded on the XS. Next, I took a short nap after dropping the XS on the charger. 30 minutes later, and I went on a swim with my bros at a random community pool that's like 8 kilometers away from my home. It was late when we headed home, so I got the chance to record some nighttime footages. Disclaimer: don't film while driving or riding a bike like I did. Later on, I had dinner and worked on my physics homework. I did try not to touch my phone during it, but I surely did quite a lot. Then I did some migration stuff, so the iPad I fixed earlier on now goes to my sibling, and I got this free iPad mini 5 in return. Alright, so if you remember, this is the iPad mini 5 that I reviewed in the last video, which was my daily driver iPad for quite some time. But then I got this Air 5, so this went down to my sibling, and now that I've got this free 8th gen, I'm getting this back. As I don't really have a use for this iPad, I went ahead and installed iPadOS 18 for fun. Plus, I think I might use this as a portable reader, because this thing is just too big. Like, seriously, the Air 5 is like twice the size of a Mini 5. Honestly, I'll just use the Air 5 for just note-taking stuff with the pencil, but yeah. I proceeded to update the iPad to iPadOS 18 Developer Beta 2 while I continued working on this script. Day 1 ended with the iPhone XS with 12% of battery left. I woke up particularly late that day, so the first thing I did was to rush to my only physics class at 9 in the morning. Don't you love it when your Wi-Fi sucks so bad that you have to use mobile hotspot in the comfort of your own home? No thanks, I don't. Okay, so apparently my 12 mini is shattered from just sitting on the charger all day. Anyway, my Monday was pretty boring, so there's not a lot to cover. Fast forward to 7 PM and I got ready to go hanging out with my friends. We did some homework and played a couple of matches of Among Us hide and seek. Funnily enough, my 12 mini shattered even more because I intentionally drop tested it in front of my friends for show. What? Isn't that a totally typical and rational thing to do? Anyways, I got to play with the iPhone mirroring feature on iOS 18 and macOS Sequoia. To be honest, it is extremely neat to be able to access my phone's display and its notifications uninterruptedly from my computer. Nonetheless, it was done by Huawei first, so I don't care. My second day ended at 11 PM with 11% left. I actually got up early today and got going to the community pool, where disaster struck. I accidentally dropped the XS face down onto the concrete floors and the screen protector was obliterated. I saw the screen flashes and it just went inky black. Then it started to overheat like crazy. The first thing I did when I got home was to disconnect the battery and isolate the screen ASAP to prevent another Galaxy Note 7 incident from occurring. Still, I had my eSIM in it to retrieve, but things aggressively got worse. The phone wouldn't connect to iPhone mirroring because it requires a passcode authentication, and not even QuickTime wanted to detect the screen output. I eventually gave up and was met with two options. One is to sell the phone as is for parts for $120. The other option is to get another crappy screen for $30 and continue doing this mentally tormenting challenge. Well, I obviously picked the first option and quickly got to packing the phone up. Honestly speaking, it was sold in a suspiciously quick amount of time, so I'm curious whether I sold it for too low of a price. I really don't think so. At the end of this disastrous yet meticulously conducted scientific experiment, I discovered that downgrading to an immensely worse phone did not assist in minimizing my screen time. Therefore, there's barely any need for me to keep on stressing out about this topic. By the time I'm filming this section, the dead XS has been shut down, and I think I'll get a similarly priced Android phone, such as the Galaxy S9 or S10e, which currently go on for $120 to $150 to do a different video, and I don't think that I will get another iPhone. Why, you may ask? My current iPhone 12 mini has been serving me very well, and I feel no need to change my main phone, unless it gets tragically murdered by me again. Thanks for watching and see you in 3 months. I really hope not so. Now I have to pay money to get my eSIM back. result of my craftsmanship. How do we just spell that? This is the result of my craftsmanship, trying to color mix it a couple